I'm so worried that, we're gonna find some horrible, horrible things.
It didn't take me long to walk through and go wrong, 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 wrong.
And now you start to wonder, like, should we have bought the house?
Somebody's really screwed this. Whoever did it wrong. And it was missed by the home inspector. Scott and Erin, two nice people, bought a house, did the right things, brought in a home inspector, found that the furnace was out. You should replace the furnace, couple of small things, that's it. They replaced the furnace. Then they started to notice a few things that didn't seem right. They decided to call me in. Now I'm gonna have to do a homes inspection, find out what was missed, what's wrong, and what I'm gonna do to make it right.
Well, there was a couple of things that we were looking for the house. One of the things is we knew we wanted to be in an older neighborhood, a place that was close to an area where there was a coffee shop and some different things where we could easily walk to and we wouldn't have to drive very often. And I'm not a big fan of newer homes, so we knew we wanted to be in an older neighborhood.
The other thing, too, is property. And we really, really liked the property. The backyard for this house was just wonderful.
The house that we ended up buying, it was one of the ones that I had seen online, and I just, from the picture online, I thought, what a lovely house. Neither of us are very handy, so having a home inspector was a good thing because we thought, having someone come in who knows about homes and can find any issues and could point them out to us would be a great thing.
So what we were relying on is a home inspector to give us enough good information for us to make a sound decision on whether to purchase the home and what price to offer for the home.
Hi.
You must be Scott?
Yes.
I'm Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Erin, pleasure to meet you.
I guess we started noticing some discrepancies from the home inspector report when we started cleaning the kitchen. We opened up the cupboards and we were just cleaning, and I noticed that the vent for the gas stove wasn't vented to the exterior. I thought that was kind of odd because the home inspector never mentioned anything about that. No big deal, I could do that. But it's just the more and more that we looked, these little things kept coming up, and it kept saying in the report, acceptable, acceptable. And now we're questioning.
I read the report. Really, what I got from it, almost everything was acceptable. And it said that ACC, acceptable. Right. So every report I read is different, and it's funny that we don't have a standard system, but that's what I'm trying to do here. So let's start in your kitchen. Why not, since we're here?
The main problem started when I hired a plumber to come in to put a braided dishwasher hose, because I felt more comfortable. At least I know it wouldn't leak. And when he went downstairs to shut off the water, basically the water shut-off valve was almost disintegrating and could not be turned off.
Once he took it off and he had it in his hand, it just completely broke apart in his hands. So we had to call in the city. They had to turn off the water from outside so he could actually start work, and he was here for several days.
It was a major issue. If water started leaking into the house, there was no way for us to shut it off. The basement would have been flooded.
I don't like the way he's done his plumbing.
The plumbing was original. We never touched that. But
he never touched this?
No, he never touched that.
Right away, I'm looking at your ABS here, your drainage. It's incorrect. When the water runs down this way, you see how it comes on this side? Where's it going?
Just sitting there.
That's right. It's going this way. It's not going towards where it's supposed to.
That would explain why when we drain the sink, the water comes up on the right side.
So the inspector himself missed the plumbing that was not up to code. You brought in a licensed plumber who missed the drainage that is not up to code, and he's fixed other things. So now I want to see what else he's done.
Watch your head when you go down.
I love this. Watch your melon. You put that up there?
I did.
Yeah, there is a code height, and I do not remember reading that in the report. And the code height is 6'8". So this way, when you walk down the stairs, I'm 6 feet. You don't smash your head coming down. All right, let's start in here. Okay, I can tell somebody's messed with your home big time. Structure. See that? Somebody's done something. I see the new piece of wood. New piece of wood. Now, I can't really see that right now, but I want to know what they've done with the structure.
I became very concerned because I was questioning everything the home inspector did. I started looking in the basement very carefully at the support beam. I'm not a structural engineer, I have no idea, but it didn't look very stable to me. So now I'm quite concerned. I don't know if the support beam in the basement is structurally sound.
You talked about a little bit of funkiness on the beams, right? And you're correct, because what we're seeing is a small piece here. This one's an old one, right? But we're seeing a piece inside that stops here. There's too many small pieces. We have another one here, right? So a small one that comes across on this span. From the here to there is approximately 9-10 feet maximum, okay? So from here to the block wall. This should be all one, not pieced. But because it's a quad, and it's all nailed together, if it's nailed correctly, it will be okay. What did they do in changes in here? That's a definite, I want this all opened up here. Somebody has made changes here because we have a new post here. Why do we have a new post here? All new walls, why do we have a new post here? This tells me that more than likely structure has been changed in this house. So what was changed and why is the pickup here? So I'm gonna propose Damon takes out that bulkhead so I can see more to inspect what changes were made and did they do it properly. Really don't like this. Now, let me explain why. Somebody's opened up and put in a bigger window. So what's the issues I see with this? Structure. The structure itself with an end rim plate and then the floor joist coming out will hold a lot of the weight. And the window itself has become a structure to that, and it shouldn't be. We want to see a metal lintel. In this case, it's not a lintel. We want to see a double beam out there and then tie our floor joist back in. That double beam on the outside will help pick up the load. If it's a single and the floor joists come off, it's going to push down on that window. That's a lot of weight load on top of that window. And eventually, it's going to break the window. It's just going to shatter. Look at these lines that are stapled. They're not clipped. It runs into a receptacle on the floor. It comes up, it ties into the junction, does not go through the floor joist, but strapped underneath it. Continues down, over, runs across, and again, nothing's properly strapped on a vertical, sitting on top of the ductwork, which is not allowed. Electrical lines are not allowed to be lying on top of the ductwork because, once again, two things don't mix, electricity and metal. If for any reason this hit a sharp point on the ductwork, right? Energizes the ductwork. Anybody touching it can be electrocuted, can be shocked, can be killed. So this tells me right away that somebody's done some electrical. The panel is slightly too high. And the reason it's done this way is because this was the intake line right here to outside. So the easiest way of doing this was to tie right into it rather than deal with the hydro company. So this looks like a bonus to you guys, doesn't it?
Well, it looked
it's
new.
a new panel.
It looked new, so that was nice.
Yeah, but without a permit, now do you have a peace of mind that it was done properly?
No.
Erin doesn't know.
Okay, so visually, I'm going to take a quick look. I see nice stapled lines. It appears to be fairly neat on the electrical. However, I see a junction point over there. You tied a lot of electrical into your light box there. The new electrical tied into the old electrical. Incorrect. The more I look at the electrical, the more I go, somebody's really screwed this. It wasn't an electrician. It was someone in the house, whether it was a homeowner, a handyman, a contractor, I don't care. Whoever did it wrong. And it was missed by the home inspector.
I mean, there's part of me thinking that we shouldn't have bought this house. I kind of feel bad because it was sort of more me, because I found it online and I thought, what a beautiful house. And, you know, I feel like I've kind of got Scott into something that maybe we shouldn't have gone down that road.
The worst thing is the second guessing. I kept saying in the report, acceptable, acceptable. If he's saying these things are acceptable and they're not, we started questioning whether or not the things that are acceptable or what else he did miss.
Come on in here. They run the gas line over top of all this spaghetti mass of electrical. Why run it through here? This goes up to the stove. Electrical and gas are not smart mixed together. If you have the opportunity to run it in a clear path where it's not with electrical, don't you think you should do that? Let's talk about your plumber for a sec. Okay, I don't see proper venting. We're too far. Okay. somebody's moved this. We're too far from the vent line. We're gonna be within 5 feet, so this means we have improper air behind water. I read in the report, plumbing acceptable, acceptable, acceptable. Wrong, you had a plumber in here. He didn't point this out. Bathroom. Somebody's added a bathroom to the basement. This is not regular. The GFI is right here. Oh, look at what I have. We have a GFI. Okay, this tells me that we're wired correctly and it is working properly. So whoever did this GFI did that correctly. Unfortunately, I'm the guy that's coming in afterwards and I'm doing an inspection, but it's not like a standard home inspection. We call it a Holmes inspection, because now I'm going to look. Oh, junction point width. Wow, you got a junction point here with way too many wires. These guys that do these stupid things of electrical. All you gotta do is move some tiles to see this. I haven't even gone far yet, and I'm seeing electrical, gas, minor structure, by the way. Signs will always tell me where things were. Really easy to move a tile, isn't it? So somebody's done all kinds of electrical. I moved one tile in the bathroom, found 2 junction boxes with way too many wires. So the more I look in here, I bet you I'm gonna see it everywhere. Somebody's really played with the electrical in your home. All right. I have already seen way too much, and I've only been here a short period of time, and I still have to do the thorough inspection on my own. So I'm going to go get my tools. I'm going to go through your house. Then I'm going to tell you what it's going to take to fix it. And I got a bad feeling. I get a really bad feeling.
I'm starting to sweat.
This is more than I expected. So see how far we got to go.
Okay.
Okay, so relax.
Thank you very much.
I'll get back to you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
There's a lot more issues than what I was expecting. I'm so glad he's here, but learning all the different things that we weren't expecting is just, it's a little overwhelming.
I can clearly see that the whole house has been all new vinyl siding. And the good thing about this is they use the 1-inch styrofoam board. Maybe not the best, but it's 1 inch. So there's foam underneath it, which means they tried to thermal break the outside. We can see they put up a screen mesh here to keep the critters out. I think that they're gonna have to keep replacing this because trust me, squirrels and raccoons will easily get in there and make a home. They just like pot out and get up there. Minor issues, a lot of the things that the inspector misses, a trip hazard at the top of the stairs. These are proper step heights here, but he has a trip hazard at the top. And unfortunately, you know, he didn't point it out. And he had a camera, and I would have. The first thing I look for when I come into a house, it's evidence that things have been changed. And as soon as I start seeing things have been changed, I'll start sourcing out how it was changed, what was done, electrical, plumbing, structure. It's not a standard home inspection. It's me coming in to find out what's wrong, what was missed, and what I have to do to fix it. This was a gas line, a main. Our main is going to be here, comes in and feeds the hot water heater. All of a sudden now, this line has been teed off and split to feed the dryer and the stove upstairs. The lines that I'm seeing here, I don't think the size is big enough to accommodate 2 extra feeds off the gas. So try and run this, the hot water heater, the stove, and the dryer at the same time. There's not enough gas in this line to feed the 3 of them. I look under the stairs. I see that the stairs are wrong, the structure's wrong, everything that's tied in is wrong. And you follow the stringers up, and what do they tie into? These stringers tie into nothing. This needs to be against structure. So what's it rely on? It relies on nailed to the wall, which we see, right? Nailed to this wall, and then these 2 pickup U-pieces of 2x4 that come up and now hold the weight of the stairs. It's not the code. Homer! Mr. Damien Bennett, how you doing, buddy? I guess you can see this, I can see this.
Yep, I just noticed it when I first walked in.
We have a climbable rail,
Right.
and that's an issue. So you're gonna have to bring in some rail people. So that's an issue. Let's start with where I went.
Watch your melon.
Oh, I love that picture. It's just, I love to see the suspended ceiling. I
Yeah.
really do. I'm gonna tell you right now, pull every single tile in the ceiling, okay? Every single one of them. I want this bulkhead pulled. Because I know they've messed with structure, I want to see what they've done. I have a feeling that the stairs to the basement were in a different location before.
That's what I was gonna say to you, because of that duct line?
Well, they moved the duct line
Right,
over,
right, yeah.
You're still smacking your freaking noggin
Yeah.
coming down the stairs, but they moved it over.
Right.
Why'd they move it over, right? So let's investigate as to why. To me, it's all minor, but put them all together and you got what?
And I got a full house.
Hey, look at that. Let's play cards.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Maybe she wants to help you work. Wish she cared that much about me.
A man stopped by looking for the foreman
Yeah.
and was looking for a job.
Okay.
And this is his resume.
That's better than the one Adam gave me. So honestly, guys, I don't even know what we're looking for yet. Mike wants these down because he's afraid of a previous renovation in here. We have some electrical issues, we have some junction boxes, so it's really about just looking around today. It's a really good way to finish your basement. I mean, if you have a lot of wires, you have a lot of duct lines, you have stuff in the ceiling that you want to get to, but you want to finish your basement, there's no better way than just doing a drop ceiling using these panels because you always have access. It gives it a nice finish, it gives it a bit of soundproofing and a bit of an R value. I'd do it. I hear there might be a mouse problem here, but I haven't seen any signs
there
yet. Is there? We have mouse poop.
It's Koopa.
Wow, there's a lot of junction boxes. Start taking off all this stuff. All the corner bead. Okay with Katie? So, Frankie, we know that there's been some work done here. We don't know when because there's been no permits pulled, no electrical permits or building permits on this house. And there's been at least, Mike thinks at least 2 renovations in the house.
Just a quick look at the panel and how many breakers we have with the size of the house.
Right.
They're going to have some overloaded circuits.
Absolutely.
So we'll do the test of troubleshooting. I'll
Okay.
report it back to you, and we'll take it from there on how far we're going to go. When you're working with unskilled trades, the biggest problem that you're going to end up finding in the electrical industry is circuits that are overloaded. Just not knowing that this panel plug, for argument's sake, should be dedicated. It's not. They clearly picked up other items on it. Tell me when you're ready. Then is it off now?
Okay.
They're just cutting corners and saving a breaker, and now costing you money in order to have things rewired.
Yeah, it's off.
Well, so far, just on this page here, I've got circuit 19 that's got 14 items on it, and then I've got circuit 23 that has 16 items on it. So those 2 are overloaded. I also clearly see now that the washer and the gas dryer are plugged into the same receptacle. The gas dryer has a tumbler in it that does require its own circuit. Together, they're going to draw larger than 15 amps. It's going to overload the circuit. Here's a prime example of laziness. They ran the wire, it's touching the duct. If this sheathing ends up cutting away along those sharp corners and ends up touching the metal, this metal will be live. I don't understand. It's like a first-year apprentice knows this kind of stuff. It's pretty bad.
Ooh, it's definitely chilly up here. Well, definitely not enough insulation. I can see that right off the bat. This insulation here is probably at least 20 years old. I'd say there's maybe an R25, R30 up here at the most. We definitely want to get an R40 or 50. Yeah, I see a lot of rodent issues here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're having some rodent issues as well. You can see it on the attic access. They're going for the warmth. The warmth of the house is actually heating the access panel door, and they're looking for that warmth. I think it's easily fixed. I think they're just finding a way up into the roof line here and working the way in here. And then from up here, they can actually work their way down the walls. I mean, they can fit in a 1/4-inch gap. I don't like the fact that these 2 vents are so close to each other. I'll get Steve to take a look at it.
Not too much going on with this roof. The shingles themselves are in pretty good condition. The main issue is location of the vents. We've got a few vents that are actually adjacent to each other. The problem with, depending on which way the wind blows, one of these vents will act as an intake and the other one an exhaust. Air is really just circulating from vent to vent, which means you're only venting the area directly below the roof vents themselves. So what we want to do here is we actually want to remove some of these other vent locations, fill them in with new wood and shingles, and install the proper amount of vents across the one side of the roof. Compared to the neighbor's roof, we have the appropriate amount of vents all on one side of the roof. And we do that just because they will function better, but also for aesthetic purposes, we don't put them on the front of the home, we put them on the rear of the home.
I begin my plumbing inspection by investigation of the full sanitary drain underground. So far the line is clear. The water's been draining perfectly, so I'm happy with what I see. So this is what the previous contractor discovered. It was a shadow valve that was actually buried pretty much in a concrete floor. But what puzzles me is the fact that this contractor, who was a licensed plumber or perhaps even a master plumber, installed a ball valve with the bleeder valve on the wrong side of a supply line. In case if the water is turned off and the system is being drained, we open the taps upstairs to let the air in and obviously drain all the water, but then the bleeder valve should also be open at the very end to drain any residual water that's in the line. Now, if this bleeder valve is on the wrong side, it will blast water that's coming from the city at 80 psi, and you won't be able to control it at all. Another problem that I discovered is with the laundry tub. Laundry tub is not vented properly. Every fixture needs to have its own trap, and every trap needs to be vented. This is the vent that serves that fixture, and the distance is actually more than 5 feet, so I'm gonna have to reduce that by relocating the actual laundry tub. I will actually be able to solve the plumbing problem, improve the venting system, as well as move away from electrical panel, which at the moment our laundry tub is too close to the electrical panel. It's a good idea to document all this stuff. This is going to be hard for Mike to see at the very end. I mean, we're going to be repairing this, replacing it before anyone's going to get their eyes on it. I definitely have to document this for a final report at the end. It shows everything that was wrong, everything we did to fix it, and the finished product.
To me, this is all about a home inspector who does not have a background in the building industry, and if he does, shame on him, because there's too many things that have been missed. Let's just get the homeowners, let's walk them through, let's tell them everything, and then, well, you know what you have to do.
Oh, yeah.
You have to make it right.
I will.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. This is one of those jobs where we actually bring in, I'd say everyone.
Yeah, every trade.
Absolutely everyone. Little things we're going to start with, the front stairs, okay? We do have a tripping hazard there, that we have a wrong height at the bottom and a wrong height at the top. We're going to pull your stairs, we're going to raise the bottom up to a proper height and bring your stairs up and eliminate the tripping hazard. Okay. Inspector should have caught that. It's minor compared to everything else. We've even brought in Steve Graves to be on the roof up there, because what's happened, you had 6 roof vents up there. As far as I'm concerned, the inspector should have caught this. You're over-vented on the top. So Steve's been up there. They pulled off all 6 vents up there, covered in the holes, pulled up the shingles, put in new vents, proper amount, 4 on the back. So whoever did it didn't do it right. And then we got the inspector looking at it going, looks fine to me. We've only been outside. Ready to go inside.
We're kind of scared to go inside now.
Well, you know what? I'm not afraid. It's not really big. It's just a lot of little crap. And a lot of little crap adds to a big bag of money. That's what it adds up to. As you can tell, there's no more watch your melon sign here. So watch your melon. I'll tell you verbally. We know that there's work been done. We can tell by the age of the beam. This is something that was good done here is they bolted. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We call this a 5 2x10 beam, right? If you notice, nothing is anchored whatsoever. We see too much of a telescopic point at the top here. In other words, too much of a pin at the top, which makes this actually structurally weak. And not being tied into the beam means that if somebody hits this too hard, it comes down. We will fix the structural issue. Your master plumber. Let's talk about the tap that he installed. That tap, it actually has an arrow on it that says direction of water flow and how you install it. He's installed it upside down. So it's 100% upside down. That means if you shut it off and you open the air intake, nothing but water bleeds out. And how much did he charge you?
$3,000, $3,500.
Well, that was a total waste of your money that he benefited from. And, you know, do we want to phone him to come back in and fix it?
No, I didn't know what he was doing.
Well, that makes sense to me. Why call him in? Why recommend him, right?
I was very surprised. I thought that the plumber we hired to come in to fix the things that the inspector missed, that at least that part of it would be good. And now we found out that that's not good as well.
I'm pretty mad about that.
Yeah.
Frank came in for the electrical. They found a lot of electrical issues. They're gonna put in a newer panel, bring it down, and make it proper. Here's what I get from this. We bring in a home inspector that doesn't notice the gas issue, doesn't notice that the rails on the stairs upstairs, which we're gonna replace, run horizontal. You're not allowed to do that. They must be vertical. A kid cannot climb them. Minor, but doesn't notice them. So if he doesn't know this, he, she, I don't care who they are, how the hell are you supposed to know anything?
Right.
Well, we add up all these little things. Roofers, electricians, plumbers, HVAC, gas guys. Yeah, we're in the mega numbers, right? We're in the large thousands of dollars. And had you have, had the right inspector that said, well, you're looking at maybe 50 grand worth of fix-up here, would you have something maybe to negotiate now to buy the house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you didn't have that, did you?
No.
Okay, you do now.
Okay.
Okay, but we're gonna do it for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so no worries, keep smiling. Don't worry about your melon anymore. I'll be back.
I appreciate it.
This guy's in charge, he's real good.
Thank you very much.
You're gonna love him.
All right.
I'm still kind of angry that the home inspector missed so much. There's just so many things that Mike found. It was kind of shocking for us.
He did say some of the things are small, which is great. It's just the sheer number of things is just unbelievable.
Whenever you make a connection in a box or in a pot light or in a plug, you should always twist a wire together before you put the barrette on it, or you end up having a situation like this, where you just take the barrette off and all the lighting goes dead. Reason being is because this wire was never twisted together with the rest of them, so all that's holding this connection together is this little tiny barrette. Now, if this ever comes loose from vibrations through the floor or something like that, and this thing falls off, now you have an open connection. It's like throwing a match at a fire. It's just wait for something to happen.
1, 2, 3.
The purpose of this task would be to install a new bleeder valve, obviously in the right position, so that the bleeder valve is on the homeowner side, so that once the valve is turned off, I can use the bleeder valve to actually let the water out from the house and make sure that the system is completely empty.
The reason we're changing this panel is this panel was installed way too high to begin with. The way we're moving it is not really moving it away, we're just more turning it and installing a better quality panel than the one that's here. They're a little bit more user-friendly, they offer a lot more expandability, so that's why we're doing it.
First major problem I have here is the slope. Problem if the drain is not sloped properly is it allows the water obviously to accumulate as well as the grease. This is how it should have been done in the first place. Basic plumbing 101, literally. What I have is on my left-hand side, the water from this compartment drains directly into the trap and then out to the sanitary line. The water from a right-hand side compartment drains right this way. So they both drain sort of independently up to this joint, and then from here they continue out to the rest of the line.
This is the master bedroom of this house, and I mean, as you can see from the ceiling, or any of the rooms up here, there's no lights anywhere in the ceilings of these houses. What we're gonna do is in each bedroom, we're gonna put a light in the ceiling with a switch at the door, controlling a fixture in each bedroom on the top floor.
And voila, one more job down. Good job, Share Bear.
Okay, I mean, there's some good things here. Whoever did this did it right because it's a quad beam. Actually, it's 5. So they have 5 2x10s and they bolted it. So we have some structural professionalism here. This is good. This is good. The window. I really don't see any issues. I checked.
Yep.
And the upstairs window that I think years ago was a door, that load is carried up over and across, right? So the load of the wall and the second floor is carried on this side and on that side. Right. It's allowed in code, which is good.
Instead of building their landing properly and supporting the back of the stairs along the top of the stringer like they should have, the landing is up too high and there's no support holding the back of the stairs from falling back or even to give it anything from pushing and sliding out. We're gonna build a proper landing underneath this landing to give the stairs the bracing that they need. Now when someone walks up, from these stringers now, the weight is transferred back through all 4 of these cripples back to the framed wall, remaining very strong, like the way it should have been from the beginning.
We're disconnecting the old gas line. They had too many feeds coming off it. They were feeding the hot water tank, a stove, a dryer, all off a 1/2-inch line. So we're gonna run this all the way back to the 1-inch main and bring in a 3/4-inch line and then tee off. This is the fitting they had in there. It was a 1x1 by half. We're changing that, putting in a 1x1 by 3/4. So I had to take the gas pipe out all the way back to this connection. So now I can get this one back in and then reconnect everything. We will be replacing, they have a copper line that's running right over the electrical panel. Now there's a lot of electrical wires that are touching the gas line. So all these old copper gas lines, we'll be removing them and putting in some gas flex piping with some plastic shielding.
We're doing an inspection looking for rodent activity, so we're looking for either droppings or dead mice. Most rodents carry diseases like hantavirus, typhoid, and salmonella. They also chew on wires, so they cause a lot of electrical fires, so that's the biggest concern. Also notice a hole in the insulation. That's obviously a hole where mice have been going through and nesting in there. Looks like the previous homeowner used their own traps, and at first glance that looks like a deer mouse. And like I said earlier, deer mice are known to carry the hantavirus. And here it looks like another trap that the homeowner used. It's also a live trap. The risk of leaving them up there, they'll die, they'll actually dry up and they'll have a smell. Also the hantavirus that they carry, so if you're cleaning up the droppings, you want to make sure when you do remove them, they use a proper mask. These are tamper-resistant bait stations, so kids or animals can't get into them. So what happens, the rodents are going to go on either side and feed on the bait that's in the middle of the block there. We install these bait stations where we see rodent activity, so drop ceilings, attic areas. We try not to put them where there's food, so you're not going to put them in the kitchen area. So if you're seeing droppings or dead mice, that's where you want to put the bait stations. A lot of entry points like water lines, electrical lines, dryer lines, stuff like that. So we'll do an inspection outside to seal all those holes as well. We use copper wool or stainless steel wool, and then we'll caulk around the outside of that as well. And it just prevents any mice from coming in.
The Eavestroughs have got numerous problems. Every corner is leaking. Most of the trough has lost a lot of its slope. It's full of ice and debris. So it's really aged and weathered, broken down the Eavestrough sort of prematurely. So we'll be changing to new 5-inch seamless Eavestrough. The other issues here, we've got a lot of mature trees, a lot of debris frozen into the existing eaves, so we'll be putting on smart screen to eliminate any of those issues.
They did a nice set of stairs. The stringers are perfect, the treads are perfect, the heights are perfect. One crucial thing they did wrong is give it a trip hazard at the top by 1.5 inches. You're carrying in groceries, you trip on that, it's gonna be a nasty fall and hopefully not into the glass door that's right in front of you. You never want to bury any type of wood in soil. I mean, it really should be sitting on some kind of pad that keeps it off the ground. The minute you bury wood, you're susceptible for it rotting, getting insects in it, and just deteriorating. You want to get some kind of concrete pad or a patio stone to actually sit your stairs on so that it's not just absorbing all the moisture that's in the ground. The ground carries a lot of moisture, especially in the spring thaw. We do not want wood rotting.
Basically what we're looking at here is a homemade skylight. It's a plexiglass that they just sort of constructed into a wood frame, and they've got some flashing over it for some sort of, to keep some of the water out. Because it's just over an exposed porch, there's no heat loss through them. It's an exterior space, so they're basically doing their job. We're just going to finish the inside of it, just to have a cleaner finished look versus just being able to see through the framing and such. Also, because we'll be closing this in, there's no more entry point for any rodents, raccoons or squirrels or birds to get into the ceiling of the porch and nest. So not only would the closing it in fix it cosmetically, but it would also help prevent any animal infiltration.
Basically, the old duct was running in this area right here, giving us, this was our head height for our duct, which we didn't have enough clearance from the bottom of the duct to the bottom of our first step. So clearly a height issue here. Basically, we removed all this ductwork, rehung our new ductwork on the opposite end of the beam, again, giving us a little bit more height by widening it and shrinking it down, giving it a cleaner finish, more airtight, and making the room livable. Finish off this basement, not have a problem. It's 100% better than what it was.
We run into a bit of a snag today. I'm trying to get in a proper sized door to be able to get in appliances, get maintenance on the furnace, be able to move that stuff in and out of this room. I need to get a proper door in by code, 32 inches, so that they can actually get stuff in and out of this room. How do I do that when I have an elbow here? Gary's brought his ductwork here, nice and neat, nice job right through. So, Gary's done. I now have another headache where I have to get a door in here. How do I get a door around ductwork? So, we're gonna move this wall 4 inches back, which allows me to get in a 32-inch door here, is what we want. I've finished off this area, given me my door, shrunk the bathroom. Now, we can finish the bulkheads and maybe go home tonight at some point.
Bubble says good.
Okay, good it is. We're just making it safer for them, right? This was a climbable rail right here, so we gotta bring it up to code, and you're the man for the job, buddy.
I'm here to do it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
These guys have done an amazing amount of work in a short period of time by staying late. They've done a fantastic job here. We're well underway. A lot of painting and filling today, but it's nothing we can't handle. We're on our way to giving this one back, which makes me very happy.
Mr. Bennett, it's looking pretty good. I can tell you didn't just like put in a new set of stairs. You did new rails and move some stones and concrete.
Yeah, we took out the old stuff, all for a 1.5-inch lip. Unbelievable what the amount of work we had to do.
Well, the trip hazard's huge. This is perfect because the last time I was here, it was dark. The whole area was dark. So this now, because it's white, is created a light rail, and it's bringing the light in against the windows. I really like it.
You're absolutely right. As soon as they put this in, it just lit it right up.
And it stops the critters from getting in.
Absolutely. It's done its job.
Okay, you know what? New railings, new everything else. We're still going downstairs, still cleaning, still touching up the rails. It's gonna be a little bit. Something tells me it's gonna be a little dark.
It'll be dark for sure.
Welcome home. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. How you been?
Very good.
Little things, you see the rail?
Love it.
You know what? It's something the home inspector shouldn't have missed. You have to make sure that you cannot climb the rail. Obviously, it's not a cheap fix, but it's the way it should be. Damon found something in the attic when he went to the attic. What'd you find?
I found a lot of stuff, not enough insulation, and I found a lot of mice, evidence of mice, which we've taken care of for you.
Thank you. More insulation, but
Absolutely, we topped it up. It just wasn't enough. There was double bats of insulation, just not enough. We topped it up.
You know what? Why don't we go downstairs? Oh yeah, watch your head.
I don't have my head anymore.
Yeah, you notice that?
So nice.
Wow. Walk down, you're not gonna hit your head. Actually, don't look too much here. Let's go into the furnace room, and we'll talk in the furnace room, and then I'll bring you out here and tell you what we did, because there's some changes I don't know if you noticed yet.
Okay.
Just a few. It's fantastic now. He's gone through with his crew, and he's fixed all the problems. It's just great.
We don't need this anymore. It's fantastic clearance down there.
You have a brand new electrical panel. I love Frank, and I love his guys. They come in, new panel, whole house protector, so it's a surge protector. You understand what this is?
Yes, for like lightning strikes, I guess?
Well, yeah, it's any type of surge, mainly lightning. Lightning hits the ground, it comes in common, it hits the ground line, comes in, it fries the motherboard in the furnace. I can go on and on. And I've learned this because my house got hit by electricity. Oh. So it doesn't mean you shouldn't have a surge protector on your stereo or TV. It's really the main backup. I still, please get a surge protector for all your valuables. Okay. But this is the big one that we want to care about. Make sure the lights are on. So they cleaned up everything, electrical's done. Now let's see what really good plumbers do. Let's look over here.
Wow, what a difference.
Yeah. Now this is not only good plumbers, this is also our HVAC guys, so gas. Look at your gas lines. That's the way we want to see how neat it is, no more lines by the panel. The bros actually did quite a bit of ductwork, and we're gonna have this main line that now comes up under the beam, back up and around, because what we did was take that whole trunk line and move it on the other side of this wood beam. The old trunk that used to be here, that air is pushing to the end. And if it's not directed properly in a proper Y, you lose a large amount, especially from the beginning of the furnace, a large amount of air that goes through. Was it cold in the house prior to us being here?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially on the upper level.
Now that we've done all this, that air is going to be distributed properly throughout the house, and you're going to find it a lot warmer upstairs. If we do follow the ductwork, we know it comes up into here now. Here's where it runs and shoots off to where it's supposed to go throughout the house. All the bulkheads have been done, new ceiling. Before we go here, what'd you do here?
This bathroom was roughly about here at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Because we added this wall, we had to give a proper door to be able to move washers and dryers in and out. There was no choice but to move this wall back. Redoing the bathroom on the inside. Luckily, you had enough room inside, because if there was no room to go to the toilet, we would have been in big trouble. But we had enough room to do it, and it accomplished getting the door in.
I like it. It's really good now. Proper registers in the ceiling, proper balance throughout, and all new tiles, which really cleans it up and makes it look better. There's almost no one that we know that we didn't bring in once again. That's a lot of money that you don't expect. I heard something earlier that was said from you that it made you feel like you bought a lemon. You kind of pushed and wanted this older style home, and it made you feel like you bought a lemon. Don't think that way. I understand it, I do. Anything can be fixed. The point is, if you're gonna hire someone, you want the right information, understand what you just might have to fix and the possibility of how much it's gonna cost. That wasn't your fault. Okay, so we come in. We just made it right, that's all we did.
I feel much better.
Okay, because this is not your fault. So I'm glad, and I'm hoping you feel better about it, because this is a nice house. It really is.
I think we feel great now.
Good, good.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm getting paid again. I love this. That's how I get paid.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
So it's just a relief now that we have back the house we wanted and not the house with all the problems.
So we have a little something for everybody. We know that everyone really bonded with our dog.
Yes.
She loves everybody, and she's gonna miss all of you. So we have a little picture of her.
Oh, look how good you look there. Look at it. Oh, that is a great picture. That's a great picture.
Oh, yeah, good girl.
You look beautiful. You do. Absolutely beautiful.